What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the PMDG 737 from Anchorage, Alaska to KPDX, Portland. This is not a real flight. I mean, it is, but I couldn't find the flight that I referenced to get the flight plan from. But we're going to be flying Spirit Airlines flight number 2115. Again, that's not an actual flight. That's just the default one I put in there, so we don't have to worry about that. But I haven't done anything in the plane. Looks like weather's going to be pretty clear, besides departure here. Looks like there's gonna be a little bit of clouds, but we should get right above that pretty quickly. We'll go ahead and jump inside the plane and we can start our pre-flight checks. First thing we need to do is get our parking brake turned on, and let me fix my other screen here. There we go. We'll jump to the overhead panel here. We'll get our battery switch on. Our electric hydraulic pumps can be turned on, and we can establish ourselves on our ground power. We can check that our landing gear lever is down. It is 3 green, and we can start our APU and fire warning tests. So we'll click this to the left, make sure it pops up here, and it does. We're good. We'll clear that there. We'll click this to the right. All 3. We'll clear it up here. I didn't mean to move down here like that. There we go. We'll move over. We'll check these lights. Make sure these guys are popping on. They are, and they are. We'll go overhead here, and we'll check our speed indicators and our flaps. Everything looks good there. So we will get our... Whoop, what are we doing here? Go back up. With our position and wing lights can come on. Our engine bleed switches are on. Our IRSs can be set to nav. Emergency exit lights and no smoking and seatbelt signs can come on. Our flap levers down or up. Our speed brake lever is down. Our galley switch is on. Our window heats can come on. 1, 2. Well, we don't need that. 3 and 4. And our prop heats can stay off, and we're ready to start inputting our flight plan. First thing we need to do is go FS actions. We'll go to payload. Our zero fuel weight today is going to be 111. Boom. We'll head back. We'll do fuel. Our block fuel today is 22,696. We'll drop that in there. We'll hit back. We'll go to FMC. We'll hit position in it. We'll go right. We'll grab our left GPS. We'll head back. We'll paste it in here. We'll head to route. All right. PANC is going to be our origin, and KPDX is where we're going. I didn't show you the flight path, but this is going to be our flight path. So we have some waypoints to put in. We're going to be flying a jetway. It looks like a lot. It'll go pretty quickly though. We're not flying a departure or an arrival, which is different. So we're not going to follow the VNAV path the entire time. We're going to go into manual control for a little while. So we'll set this over here. We're going to go direct to JOH. Let's get our NKS, our flight number put in, NKS2115, and we'll drop that in there. We're departing runway 07 left. We'll put that in there. We'll jump to the next page, and it's going to be JOH. Put that in there. We're going direct to that. Then we'll jump on a jetway Juliet 133, and we're flying directly from there to ALJ, not direct, but ALJ. We'll put that in there. Then we're jumping on Juliet 133 again, and we're flying to Humpy, 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 Juliet 133. And then we're going Juliet 133 to Woxox, WOXOX. Again, Juliet 133. Put that in there. Then we're going to Laird, LAIRE. Juliet 133. Head over to the next page. Then we're going direct to BKA, and then direct to Price, PRYCE, and then TOU, direct to TOU, and then we got 2 more. Kiko, KEIKO, and then direct to BTG. And there we are. That's going to be our flight plan. We'll go ahead and hit activate, or no, I guess we won't activate yet. We'll go to departure and arrival. We're departing runway 7 left. Departure arrival. We're going to be arriving runway 28 left. ILS 28 left. Now we can go to route, execute, legs. We'll jump out of here. We'll set this to plan mode. And that is going to be our first waypoint right there that we're going to fly to. So we're flying a direct to. So once we take off, we'll do direct to that. We do have a problem here. So we'll put that in. Oh no, we want to erase that. We want that. We want that there. There we go. I clicked next page instead of step through. We do want that discontinuity because right here, let me zoom it out if I can. This is where we would normally, because we're not flying an arrival, we would normally get ATC vectors. So we're going to just continue flying straight and then come in on our next waypoint at about a 45-degree angle. And then we should be able to get locked onto the ILS and everything like that. So that looks fine to me. Everything looks good. Then we'll land on the runway and we'll be good. So we can set this back to arc mode or plan mode or map mode. Sorry. We'll jump back down here. We'll jump into our init ref. 38,000 is going to be our altitude today. Our zero fuel weight was 111. Our reserves, we did 1,000, and our cost index today is 70. Our cruise winds, or top of cruise, let me find out what they are. 010020. 010 at 020. Put that in there. And we can execute this. We go to M1 limit. We're going to do takeoff configuration 1. We'll head over to takeoff. We're going to do flaps 5. We're going to do 6.5 on our trim, V1, VR, and V2. So we'll get our trim set now. That's 6.5 before we forget. There's 5. 5.5. 6. About right there, 6.5. All right, we'll head back over here. Our V2 speed is gonna be 136. Let's get our altimeter for here. Our MEDAR. Let's close out of that. 3036. All right, so we'll jump up here. We'll set our altimeter 3036. There we are. And for our arrival, we'll pull up runway 28 left in the charts here. Approach 28 left. Our localizer frequency is going to be 110.5. Final approach course is 283. Our airport elevation is 31. And our ILS landing barometer is 306. So we'll get all this information put into the plane. First thing I want to do is jump overhead here, set this to 380. There we go. And I also want to get our altitude here set to 380. There we are. And 283 is going to be our final approach course. We'll set it on both sides. Jump down here. Our ILS frequency is 110.5, which is already set, which is great. We'll go back up here. Our speed is going to be 136. And our heading is going to be about 075. There we are. Okay, we have everything except for our landing barometer, which is 306. Let's get that set here. There we are, 306. That looks good. And I think with that, we are ready for our before start check. So our FMC is programmed. We'll get our flight directors 1 and 2 on. Our auto throttle can stay off. Our Mach indicator is set. Heading selector is set. Altitude is set. Our autopilot disengage bar is up. Our thrust levers are idle. Our stabilizer trim is set. Our auto brakes can be set to RTO. We can go overhead here. We'll get a little panel lighting going here. We'll get our APU turned on. Our APU bleed switch on as well. We'll go down here. We'll set this to standby. We'll run a test on it. While that's going on, we'll jump up here and just check these. We're good. We'll wait for our APU to come up, waiting for our TCAS test.
TCAS test pass.
And there it is. We will be using both of our tanks today, so all of our fuel pumps will be coming on. I think you would turn this one on for the APU, is what I'm told. So we'll just leave that on for now. And as soon as our APU stabilizes, we can push ourselves out of here, man. Look at this. Look how dark that cloud is. I'm going to fly right up out of that. All right, so let's go overhead. Let's take a look. It's about to stabilize. And it's good. We'll go ahead and go on our APU generator. And we are ready for our before pushback checks. So before pushback checks are, we need to get our fuel pumps on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. APU generator switches are on. Seatbelt signs are confirmed. Flight doors and windows are locked. Anti-collision lights are on. And let's disconnect our ground services. We no longer need our ground power, and we can disconnect our wheel chocks as well. We'll head back over to the legs page. All right. And I think with that, we are just about ready for our pushback, our push and start. Let's figure out where we're going today. We'll open up our taxi chart here. Here we are. We're right here, and we're going to 7 left. So we will back out. We'll head over this way to the right. We'll jump on Mike. We'll jump on Romeo. We'll take Romeo down to Kilo. Kilo down to Hotel. And line up on the runway. Let's get that going. All right, let's call for our tug. We'll go ahead and release our brake. We can set our ignitions to the right ignition. We'll get our left or our right engine going first. Looking for 18 on the N2. As soon as we have that, we'll feed it fuel. The engine should fire right up. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We'll give it some fuel. There we are. I do have the scenery for both airports as well, so that's why the scenery here looks probably much better than what you've seen. This one is pretty new, just came out. Great scenery. They did a great job on it. As soon as that engine stabilizes here, which it will in a second, well, I guess not stabilized, but as soon as our start switch clicks off, we'll get our second engine going here. There it is. We'll get engine number 2 going. Or technically engine number 1. We'll wait for 18 on our N2. 15, 16, 17, and fuel. All right. We can go ahead and stop our pushback here. So release that. We'll put our parking brake on. We'll let our engine stabilize, and then we will continue on to our after start checks and start taxiing. We'll be off the ground here in about 5 minutes or so. I did kind of speed run through this today. I wanted to get her up in the air. It's about a 3-hour long flight, 3 hours and 15 minutes in air time. So if it is a little bit quick for you guys, I'm sorry. I'm kind of speed running through it a little bit. All right, our engine start switch just clicked off. So we could do our after start checks. Engine generator switches 1 and 2 can come on. 1 and 2. We're now on our engine generator. APU bleed switch can come off. APU can come off. Pro P switches 1 and 2 can come on. Yaw damper can come on. We'll jump down here. Nothing on our master cautions. No master cautions. Wing anti-ice we're not using. Pack switches left and right can be set to auto. Isolation valve can be set to auto. And our transponder can be set to TARA. We got that set. All right, we are ready for taxi. So we'll do our taxi lights. 1, 2, and 3. Taxi and runway turnoff lights. We'll get our flap set. 1, 2, 3. Flaps 5. We will check our flight controls. Left, right, forward, back. We are good. We'll go ahead and release our brake. And we're ready to taxi. We'll give it a little bit of throttle to get us moving, and we'll give ourselves full right rudder so that we can make this turn here. Getting a little bit of frame drop here with the new scenery, so forgive me for that if you're seeing that. All right, and we'll go ahead and taxi right along here. We'll follow this over to the left here. Yeah, a little bit of frame loss. It's not terrible, but I do see it. I'm sure you guys will see it. It's not too bad though. I'm pretty sure it'll clear up here in a second. And then we're gonna make it right here. There's the scenery. Make a right turn here. We should be able to follow this straight ahead. This is Romeo here. Is this? No, this isn't where we want to turn. We want to turn at the next one. Yeah, we're good. Okay. All right. 16 minutes and we're on our taxi. If you guys are enjoying this, be sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe if this is the kind of content you guys like. And if there's somewhere you want me to fly, leave it in the comments and I'll be happy to try and fit it in. All right, so we'll go to the left here. We're going to take this down. We're going to cross Lima and then we're going to go right on Kilo. Seems like my frame rates are stabilizing as I get a little bit away from the airport and everything. Also, it's not dark, but we can get a little bit of lighting going here. Let's head down here. We'll get our panel lights going just a little bit. We'll go over top and we'll get those. All right, so we're gonna cross Lima right here. This is gonna be Lima to the right. We can actually speed up a little bit here. All right, and we're gonna make this next right, and that's gonna be Kilo, and we'll take that down to Hotel where we're gonna line up on the runway. So we're gonna make this right here. We're gonna cross runway 33. We'll cross this runway here. So being that we're not flying a departure or an arrival, the arrival might be a little bit different today. Like I said, we're not going to follow the VNAV path. Probably, we might a little bit, but not much. Once we get closer to the airport, we're going to go into probably level change. Normally, you would get ATC vectors for your altitudes and headings, but we're not flying with ATC, so we're going to have to do that on our own. So we'll probably just go into level change mode and manage everything from there. This is going to be Hotel to our left right here, which is where we're going to jump on the runway. We'll turn left, we'll hold short, we'll do our before takeoff checks, and we'll get out of here. All right, we'll head to the left here. Start putting in some brakes. And we will hold short right here. Give everybody whiplash. We'll put our brake on and we will do our before takeoff checks. First thing we need to do, auto throttle needs to be armed. Engine start switches need to be set to continuous. We'll do a master system recall. We're good. Transponder is already set. Landing lights can come on and strobe lights can come on as well. And we are all set. All right, let's release our brake. We'll pour ourselves out onto the runway. We'll start this departure. go. Give ourselves a little more throttle. We're just kind of crawling here. All right. We are lined up. We are ready for departure. We'll go ahead and hit our toga switch. We'll keep the nose down and we will listen for our call outs. Cross check.
V1 rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Beautiful departure there. We're going to nose down a little bit so that we can keep our speeds going up. Beautiful departure. All right, we'll head back up here. We'll get our flaps set up to 1. And as we come up, we'll get our flaps completely retracted here in just a second. We'll nose down. We're climbing pretty quick. And nose can come down, or flaps can come up. We'll go into VNAV, LNAV. We'll toggle on our autopilot. We'll start that right-hand turn. We'll bring our landing gear lever to the down position. Our after takeoff checks, landing gear is up, flaps are up. Taxi light switches can come off. 1, 2, and 3, and auto brakes can be set to off. Autopilot is on, and we're already breaking out above these clouds. What a beautiful departure. Very, very smooth. Very smooth departure. I'm not used to hearing the engine scream like this because I'm usually in a wing view behind the engine, but I really do like this. This view is really nice. All right, just make sure we're on course here. Let's make sure we are heading where we need to head. We can get rid of that, and we can actually go to, let's see. I forget where there was 2 waypoints that were like right on top of each other. Yeah, it is ALJ. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this one to here, and we're gonna go direct to that. And we are all set. Climbing over 6,000 feet. Beautiful mountains out there today. It's absolutely awesome. We'll continue our climb out. Jump back in that wing view. We got above those clouds much quicker than I thought we would. It was looking a lot darker. Like it was going to be a lot more stormy. Luckily, we're good. Here's where we are on our departure. We can actually jump back up here. And what I meant to do before is turn the terrain on. I didn't. Just to make sure, you know, we could see any risk factors or anything. Looks like we are fine. We're clear of all of that. Coming up on our 10,000, which we can do our climb checks, which is landing lights can come off. I hate these older lights, man. They're so annoying. At least in a simulator. Just clicking them, finding the click points are so annoying. And I can change them. I just forgot to. Engine start switches can be set to off. We are stable in climbing, so we can toggle off our seatbelt lights. And we'll just continue climbing up. We're pitching down now to raise our speed up. We're at 10,000. Beautiful mountains out there. Everything looks really good. We're going to stay with you until about, or I am going to stay with you until about 18,000 as usual. And that's going to be where we start our time lapse. The mountains and the snow and everything look awesome. Go ahead and jump back up here. All right, we've reached our speed, so we're going to pitch back up and continue climbing through just about 12,000 here. Zoom this out a little bit. Everything seems to be going pretty smooth, knock on wood. Once we hit our 18,000, we'll toggle our altimeter back into standard mode, which is 29902. And we'll be good for cruise. First time flying in or out of this airport, so that was all new to me. I really liked it. This will be my first time flying into KPDX in a while. Now, I don't know what the weather's going to be like there, but every time I've flown into KPDX, there's always been clouds almost down to minimums. It looks pretty clear out now. It might stay that way. I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Climbing through 15,000 now. We're going to fly basically along the coastline the whole time, so we'll have a pretty good view of the coast. And then, yeah, then so here we'll fly straight ahead. And then once we're up around here, we'll loop around and get lined up. And the airport will be right there. That's our flight plan. Move this back over here. All right, coming up over 16,600. We're almost at our standard, or our altimeter, our transition altitude, where we set our altimeter to standard. Oh, yikes. Feels very realistic. All right, there we are. We'll go ahead and switch this over to standard mode. We'll jump up in the front and we'll start the time lapse here. And I will catch you guys when we are closer to the descent. I hope you guys enjoy the flight. Guys, welcome back. We have started our initial descent. We are a little bit off our flight path, so we're going to go ahead and add some speed brakes in and let the plane angle down a little bit more so we can catch up with our VNAV path. Now, we're not going to follow our VNAV path all the way in. We're going to go into level change mode once we're a little bit closer. Now, I started our descent a little bit earlier as far as... Yeah, we're descending pretty good. I started our descent a little bit earlier as far as stopping the time lapse. That way I could monitor this stuff because we're not flying in arrival. So we have a little bit more that we need to do today than we would normally do. But we are descending down. We're descending pretty quickly, 5,350 feet per minute, which is quick. But that's okay because we're catching up to our path here, which you can see. Here's where it shows our descent rate, which is crazy that we're descending that quickly. But we'll be caught up with our VNAV path before we know it. And then we'll follow that down a little bit, and then we'll go into our level change mode. This is a pretty steep descent. Let's go ahead and toggle on our seatbelts. I'm actually surprised plane. We can release a little bit of our speed brakes. That way we're not so sharp descending. We're about 2,000 feet above our VNAV path. We are catching up to it. I released the speed brakes so that we're not descending so darn quick. And we are catching up to it. So once we do, we will continue monitoring from there. Our altimeter needs to be set to 3001 shortly here. We need to set the FMC for arrival. So we're going to go init ref. We're going to do here, and we'll set that there. That's going to be descent path unachievable. That's fine because we're going to be manually doing it anyway. We're almost down to 20,000. We're almost caught up to our descent path. We'll give ourselves a little bit more speed brakes again just to angle ourselves down. So we can go ahead and go into level change mode. We'll take it down to 10,000 for now. And we'll set level change, and we're going to change our speeds down to, we're going to do 280. I don't know why it's letting us fly so darn fast. That'll help us manage everything a little bit better. So we'll keep it at 280. We'll descend down to 10,000, and then we'll continue down a little bit more. About to cross that 18,000 mark. So we can go ahead and put 3001 on our altimeter. There we are. Altimeter is set. We're pitching to catch our speed, so we'll add some more speed brakes. That way we can slow down a little bit quicker and then continue our descent down. Now, like I said, normally you would be getting ATC vectors for all of this stuff, but we're not flying with ATC, so we don't have that. So we just have to kind of eyeball it and hand fly it, or manually fly it to achieve what we're looking for. But that's okay. We should be fine. We have plenty of time to get ourselves down. We got about 20 miles. We want to get ourselves down to about, I'm going to say about 6,000. Which should be very achievable. Once we're below our 10,000, we'll do our approach checks. We have our seatbelt lights on. Air conditioning pressures, wing anti-ice is fine. Transition altitude. We have set. Engine start switches can be set to continuous. And we have our ATIS set as well. So our descent checks are complete. Crossing through 16,500. We got about 10,000 more to go. We do have the speed brakes out there so we can slow down a little bit. Once we reach our 6,000 or close, or actually I guess once we hit our 10,000, we'll start slowing down because we'll have to. But yeah, a little bit different than what we usually fly. Usually we just follow a VNAV path all the way down. But not having an arrival makes it a little bit more difficult in a simulator when you're not using ATC. Because ATC would normally vector all that for you. But we should be able to get down. We got about 40 miles to go. We have 20 miles until our waypoint, but we need to fly past our waypoint about 10 miles, I'd say. So maybe about 30 miles. Before we start our right turn onto our Hana waypoint, because again, that's where we would normally get vectors, and we want to intersect that at about a 45 degree so we can intercept the ILS. Runway 28 left. Let's take a look at our chart here. Approach for 28 left. Looks like we want to intersect that at 2,000. So at Hana, 2,900 down to 2,000. Those are the altitudes that we're going to shoot for and intercept the ILS. Let me move that back over here. Looks like we're doing pretty good. We still have about 16 nautical miles to go. And we're coming down to about 10,000 here in just a second. We'll slow our speeds down. So there's our 10,000. We'll bring this down to 245. There we are. We'll keep our speed brakes extended to help us slow down and keep these altitudes. But I think we are good. Looking good so far. That's funny. Earlier we're going 5,000 feet per minute. I was like, that's pretty aggressive. I don't know why the plane was doing it so strong. diving us, but that's okay. Below 10,000, we'll get our landing lights and everything turned on. Our auto brakes can be set to, not RTO, to 2. Master system recall, we are good. And we'll do speed brakes, flaps, landing gear, and taxi light switches when we get closer. And there we are. We're now descending about 2,000 feet per minute. We gotta get down to about 6,000. We can actually bring that down a little bit more. We'll bring it down to about 4,500. And we're looking good so far. A lot happened very quickly there, so that's all right. We are down. It's beautiful, clear skies. The first time I ever flew into Portland and didn't have, you know, like clouds or fog all the way down to minimums. It's just clear skies. I've never seen Portland with clear skies. Jumping a right wing view. All right, we are looking good. We're right on course to where we need to be. This at about 5,000. We don't need to bring it down so low. Once we start our turn, we'll start bringing it down a lot more. Actually, yes, we do. I'm like looking at the charts and rethinking everything. We'll bring it down to 4,000. We'll hold 4,000 until we start our turn. At our turn, we'll start bringing it down to 2,000. But we're also going to be slowing down at that point as well, so we got to keep that in mind. So we're looking good so far. Plane seems to be doing everything just fine. We're crossing down below 5,000. Oh, look at them windmills right there. That looks cool. I don't know why there's like 5 of them like directly on top of each other, but that looks really cool. We'll wind that back and look at it. All right, we're coming up on our 4,000 altitude, which is what we're gonna hold. So like I was saying earlier, this is the next waypoint we need. So we're gonna fly up to about here, and then we'll start our right turn to intersect that. So we're gonna hold 4,000. Once we get up a little bit more, we can slow down as well. Well, since once we get up a little more, we'll keep flying. Once we're about like parallel, like directly across from Hannah, we'll slow the plane down to about 220. We'll start that right turn. By the time we complete that right turn, I'd like to be about 195 and have our 5-degree flaps extended. All right, we are good. We're just gonna hold this altitude. We're slightly below our VNAV path, so our VNAV path would have had us about 600, 700 feet above us, 800 feet, 900. So we're slowly going to intersect that shortly. So we pretty much followed the VNAV path that it had set for us. We're just a little bit lower than it. So we got ourselves down a little bit sooner than our VNAV path would have. Not by much though. It's pretty much the same. All right, we're just going to continue along. Once we're like right up around here, that's probably about where we're going to start that right turn. start bringing our speeds down. We'll bring them down to about 230. There we are. We're going to start that right turn soon. Not just yet, but soon. We're just going to hold our altitude for now. Speeds are down to 230. We'll cut our speeds down here to 210 in just a minute. Bring it down to 220. There we go. We'll bring it down to 210. Right where we want to be. And we want to hit that 290 by Hannah, which we should be able to do no problem. All right, we're gonna start that right turn in a second. All right, let's go ahead and get that going. So we'll grab Hannah, we'll put it in the top here, we'll execute that. We're gonna bring it down to 290. There we go. We're gonna go into level change mode. Let the plane pitch for that, and LNAV mode so we can start that right turn. There we go. Looking good so far. Terrain looks awesome. All right, we'll jump back over here. We do have our glide slope up here. And we can bring it down to 200. We can leave our speeds there. That's fine. We'll bring it down to 195 shortly, but not yet. We are at our 290 altitude. This is what we need to intercept our next waypoint at. So Hannah 290, and then 2000 by the next waypoint, which I believe we could probably toggle VNAV back on, but we'll just keep manually flying it. We'll turn on our approach mode soon. Oh, I didn't realize we still had our flaps or our speed brakes extended. Whoops. Bring them in. For now, we'll arm them, but we may need them again. About 5 nautical miles out from our next waypoint. We're right on course. We're right where we need to be. So we'll bring us down to 195 now, which will let me start getting our flaps extended soon. So go ahead and get 1 notch of flaps in. I'm going to bring it down to about 250. We'll go into level change.
$2,500.
Mm-hmm. Keep bringing our speeds down. Looking good so far. We can toggle on our approach mode here in just a second. Actually, we can go ahead and do that now. So there we are. We are locked on the VOR. There's our runways in front of us. Get our taxi lights turned on. We'll arm our speed brake, which we already did. And we should lock onto this glide slope here in a second. We'll get our flaps set. We'll bring our speeds down more. Start bringing them all the way down to 133 is going to be our landing speeds. There we are. We're locked onto the glide slope. Our speeds are coming down. We can go ahead and go full flaps here in a second. We'll drop our gear. Gear is down. We can go full flaps. We'll keep bringing our speeds down. There's our outer marker. There's the left side. All right, we are fully configured for landing. We're gonna add some speed brakes, help our speeds come down a little bit. Because we're going a little bit fast, but we want to maintain this glide slope, so we don't want to slip off of that. So that'll help the plane out a little bit. There we go. We'll go ahead and release that. We'll arm the speed brakes again. And it looks like we are all set. We're ready for landing. And we're going to be getting off to the right. Cross-checked. You know what's odd to me is that they have us landing in a tailwind, which you don't ever do. You always land in a headwind. That's weird that the sim brief. I guess I should have listened to ATIS and, you know, adjusted accordingly, but it's interesting that it has us landing in a tailwind, which might make our landing a little bit more difficult. So we're actually we'll bring our speeds down to 131. Looks like we're right on our glide slope. We got 2 red, 2 white, as you can see. I'm gonna let it bring us down pretty far before I disengage the autopilot. All right, we'll go ahead and disengage it.
Minimums.
Continuing. We're gonna land. We're still right on that glide slope. Coming in a little bit crab.
100.
Give some left rudder.
50. 30. 20. 10.
There's our flare. And we were down. Ooh, a little bit rough there today. We'll go ahead and go reverse thrust. Oh, this wind is really pushing us. All right, we're gonna try and slow it down here. There we go. All right, we can release our reversers. Man, that was a rough landing today. I had a hard time keeping that thing on the center line and everything. That's why you always land into a headwind, not a tailwind. I don't know why I had us landing in a tailwind, but nevertheless, we're down. It was a little bit rough today, but we survived it. So go ahead and put our brake on. We'll do our after landing checks, which is our landing lights can come off. Just all these damn switches. All right, landing lights are off. Strobe lights can be set to steady. Taxi light switches and runway turn-off lights can come on. Flaps can come all the way up. Speed brakes can go back down. Transponder can go to standby. Engine start switches can go to off. APU can be started. And our APU bleed can come on. We'll set our transponder to standby. There we are. And we're ready to taxi. Let's figure out where we're going here. So we're going to open up our taxi chart, which I think we're just going to the right here. Yeah, so we're pretty much off the runway. We'll taxi right up there. And the terminals are... Can I see the terminals? Oh, they're right there, literally. All right. We'll go. Let's get going here. We'll toggle off our brakes. I'm having some frame drops here with the scenery, so hopefully that doesn't affect you guys too much. We can turn the terrain off. We don't need that anymore. Sorry about that. If you're seeing that frame drop, I do apologize for that. Not much I could do. I do have a pretty good graphics card and CPU, so I don't generally run into that problem. But sometimes I do. Looks like our APU is probably ready. So we'll taxi straight ahead. We'll follow this taxiway over to the right, and we'll pull up to a terminal there. Welcome to Portland, guys. If you guys enjoyed that flight, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button if you like these kind of videos. And if there's somewhere you want me to fly, drop it in the comments. Let me know. And I'll look up a flight and see if it's something that I can do. All right, we'll start this right taxi here. We'll go to the right side. There we are. It looks like there's some planes already here. So we have to find an open gate. Man, they are full, huh? Lots of planes already here. So, all right, we'll follow this to the right. It's like it's an open gate right here. So we'll pull into that one. I don't know why the ground is so bright. I wish there was a way to fix that, because that is super bright. All right, we're going to taxi in here real slow. We'll straighten out here. There we go. Going to a wing view. Slow down because we are flying in here. Just kind of coasted in. Nice Southwest skin right there. They did a really good job with this livery too. I really like it. With this scenery, I mean, we'll give a little bit of throttle because we need to move up just a little bit more. There we go. That should be plenty. And right about here, we can go ahead and hit that stop. And boom. We'll go ahead and put our brakes on. There we are. We'll jump back in the cockpit. We will do our parking check. So our parking brake, verified, it is checked. We'll go overhead here. Our seatbelt signs and no smoking signs can come off. Whoops. There we go. APU generator switches can come on. Then we can cut our fuel off. We could jump in here. We'll call for our ground services. We'll get our GPU, or we'll set our wheel chocks. We'll get our ground power. Change this to jetway. As soon as that's connected, we'll establish on our ground power, get our APU turned off. Should connect here in just a second. And we'll call for the jetway as well. There we go. We'll request the jetway. Here it comes. We'll go over top here. We'll get established on ground. We're now on our ground. Our APU can come off. Our bleed can come off. Our packs can come off. Our isolation valve can be set to open. Probe heats can come off. Window heats can come off. Yaw damper, fuel pumps. Our anti-collision lights can come off. We'll leave our wing and logo lights on. I guess it doesn't matter. It's nighttime. You can't see them anyway. And that's going to be it. Welcome to Portland. Again, if you guys enjoyed this flight, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'll be making a lot more videos like this, and I will see you guys on the next video.